Hi everyone, welcome back to your English class. I'm Jasmine and this is the 26th module. In this module, we will try to find out answers to some of the important questions related to the chapter Low Spring written by Anis Junk. Let us first discuss Think as you read section from your textbook. The first question: what makes the city of Firozabad famous? We have already read and discussed this answer. That is, Firozabad is famous for its glass bangles. The place is the center of India's glass blowing industry, and that's what makes the city of Firozabad quite famous in India. Now let's move on to the next question. Mention the hazards of working in the glass bangle industry. The answer is the bangle makers face many problems in the glass industry. They have to work in the dingy cells without air and light in the high temperature of the furnace. The dust from polishing the bangles is injurious to eyes. They often lose their eyesight before they become adults. Their eyes are more adjusted to the dark than to the light outside. Now, the third question: how is Mukesh's attitude to his situation different from that of his family? The answer can be Mukesh belongs to a poor family of bangle makers, but his attitude is very different from his family. He wants to break the family tradition of bangle making. He is daring and determined. He has hopes and dreams. He wants to be a motor mechanic. And this is really evident from the very beginning of the lesson. Now let's move on to the understanding the text section. The first question, though: what could be some of the reasons for the migration of people from village to cities? The answer to the question: there are many factors that cause migration of people from village to cities. Some villagers voluntarily move to the cities in search of jobs and better civic and health facilities, etc. Others are forced to migrate when natural disasters like flood, storm, drought, famine, etc., destroy their houses and properties. History has records of large scale migrations caused by wars. Also, many villagers who are better off than others manage to send their children to study in the cities. In the lesson Low Spring, Sahab and his family migrates to Simapuri from Dhaka after their houses were destroyed in the storms. So it is a migration due to natural calamities. The next question from the section is: would you agree that promises made to poor children are rarely kept? Why do you think this happens in the incidents narrated in the text? Hence, the first section of the question contains a yes or no response. You have to first respond to that. So, here a response is yes. And then you can justify your answers like this. The promise made to poor children are rarely kept. Often, they are not taken seriously or have been made on the pretext of retaining a child's fancy for something. This keeps the child hoping for a better possibility till he or she realizes the truth. It is difficult for people to shatter the children's dreams, while it is also painful to see these children thrive off false hopes given to them. Now let's move on to the final question of this section. What forces conspire to keep the workers in the bangle industry of Firozabad in poverty? The answer to the question can be found in the final segment of the chapter. The answer can be like the unfavorable social and legal systems, the deceptive middlemen, and their own sad destinies keep the workers in the bangle industry of Firozabad in perpetual poverty. Now let's move on to the next section, that is talking about the text. The first question: how, in your opinion, can Mukesh realize his dream? So, a model answer to the question can be like this: Mukesh was different from the other of his community. By daring to dream, he has already taken the first step towards a big change. He wants to become a motor mechanic and drive a car. He can realize this dream with determination and hard work. There might be many obstacles on his way, but a strong willpower will help him move forward the way to success. The fact that he is willing to walk a long distance in order to learn the vocation underlines his firm resolve. The only thing left for him to do is to make that first journey to that garage and request the owner to take him in and guide and direct him on his journey as a mechanic. The second question of that section mentioned the hazards of working in glass bangle industry, which we have already discussed in the previous section. So now let's move on to the third question of the section. Why should child labor be eliminated and how? The answer is child labor should be eliminated because it takes away from the child his childhood and the prospect of elementary education. Moreover, since the child laborers are cheap and consequently engaged in hazardous and dangerous employment, they are often vulnerable to mental and physical illness. In order to curb this problem, it is important to make education easily accessible to all. Apart from that, the parents must be made aware of the consequences of working in harmful environments. It is also important to make the public aware of the fact that child labor is a criminal offense and is punishable under law. The government must ensure stricter child labor laws and that the offenders are punished. Now let's discuss some more questions related to the chapter. The first question: what do you think is the theme of the chapter Low Spring? The answer: the theme of the chapter is abject poverty into which some unfortunate souls grow up. Deprived of all basic amenities of life, this set of unfortunate children is introduced to the rough side of life at a tender age. The closeness of society, the oppression of political parties, the negligence of upper class make their lives more untenable. Next question: what impression do you form about Mukesh's family on having a glimpse of their house? The answer is Mukesh's house is a half built shack with a wobbly door. One part of it is thatched with dead grass, and there is a firewood stove. Spinach leaves are sizzling in a large vessel. More chopped vegetables lie on aluminum platters. The eyes of the frail young woman are filled with smoke, but she smiles. The scene depicts their grinding poverty, but contentment with their lot. Next question. Savita is a symbol of innocence and efficiency. Comment. The answer is Savita is a young girl. She has put on a drab pink dress. She is soldering piece of glass. Her hands move mechanically like the tongues of machine. She is innocent as she is ignorant about the sanctity of the bangles she helps to make. Next question. Why do the bangle makers not organize themselves into a cooperative? The answer is most of the young bangle makers have fallen into the traps of the middlemen. They are also afraid of the police. They know that the police will haul them up, beat them, and drag to jail for doing something illegal. There is no leader among them to help them see things differently. Their fathers are equally tired. They can do nothing except carrying on their inherited business. With this, I wind up and I hope the session was helpful. Thank you.